guys. How y'all doing?
How are you?
Doing great. Good to see y'all. All right.
How comfortable are you feeling as you're taking more of the reps as the one, and you played a full game really for the first time this season and stuff like that? You feel like you're getting more comfortable?
Yeah, I think the big thing was just getting back into the season and playing a full game. Just getting into the game atmosphere. The season is a jump from the preseason. Just the way it goes. You're playing a full game. But yeah, I feel good. I feel like, starting, practice today, going out there, I thought, we got a lot of great work in.
In your book, you detailed how the decision came down to the Eagles in Tampa Bay last year. How close was it?
It was close. We were in discussions. My wife Tori and I were weighing all options. She was pregnant at the time, so we were really thinking long and hard about, you talk about the business side of it, and then you talk about the family side of it. And, Dirk Cutter, I committed to him when he was at Arizona State when I was a junior in high school, so I have all the respect in the world for him. So, we thought really long and hard, but ultimately, we decided that, Philly was our home once before, and, we loved it. We loved the people here. We loved the city. And what better place to be when we bring our daughter into the world. So that was the big decision.
It clearly worked out, obviously, but at some point last year, were you paying attention to Tampa and thinking about what would have happened had you signed there?
No, I wasn't. Once we decided to go here, you're obviously grateful for the teams, that you talk with and you go through the business part with. But, I was, grateful to be here and just focused on being in Philly and, being a daddy and all that comes with it. But, no, there wasn't a lot of time to really do that.
Going back to the timing, I know you love to use basketball analogies. Do you feel like at practice specifically this week that you're hitting some of those layups, getting a little bit more consistent?
Yeah, I feel good. I think, football is it's not an easy sport. So you just continue to work, you continue to grind, just build the relationship with the receivers, the different concepts we're running, game planning. But yeah, I think, going into this week, going into today, we're about to go watch the practice film. But I felt like we went out there and we had a great day of practice.
Carson, are you finding out whether you're starting on a week-to-week basis?
That's Nick.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Nick. Yeah. God bless.
Yeah. There's a lot of happening there.
Are you finding out on a week-to-week basis that you're starting? Was this week something you found out on Tuesday?
I'm not gonna, with that, I'm gonna keep that in house. I'm gonna keep that, here. I've said there's some things, I want to share with y'all, but that's something I'll keep in house.
Carson, how's your knee? I don't know. At the end of last year, one of the things we talked about a lot going into the playoffs was focusing on getting the ball down the field more, and then obviously in the postseason, you guys had a lot of success, mid-range, deep balls. Mm-hmm. How much of a priority this week is kind of focusing on getting back to that?
I think it's just, playing ball. It's like anything. Atlanta's defense, if you look back to the playoff game, it was very similar to how the last game, almost like eerie. How similar it was. Their defense, they did a really nice job. I told their defenders after the game, they played a really good game. Their coach did a great job, and it's all, playing them, we match up well. It's always going to be a hard-fought game. We're playing a different defense. There's a lot of talent on this Tampa Bay defense. I think right now you're always playing ball. You obviously want shots, you want explosive plays, but you can't force them. A lot of times, you can dial up something and call it, but a lot of times those things are just happening. You just sort of get to the read. You're reading through plays based on the coverage you see. But it's just going out there today, just playing ball and just continuing to build those relationships with the receivers and everyone out there.
Both of the last two games against Atlanta, Nick, they did a pretty good job of taking Zach away from you. What did they do anything differently this time than they did in the playoffs last year, or similar?
They did mix up their coverage a little more. They showed a little bit more too deep. And it's the first game of the season. That's sort of what you expect. A lot of times during training camp and everything, you're working on your defense and your offense. You work on different things that, specifically, who you're playing in the first game, so you want to get those things in. And, they showed a little bit more too high than the one high they specifically, are known for. But I thought they played really well. I thought they executed well, and we have to execute better at times. But the NFL is not easy. It's not an easy league to play in, and I thought that they played really well.
You mentioned the chemistry with the new receivers. How's that going with Mike? And you guys are obviously close on a couple. How close do you feel like you are to?
Yeah, we're really close. I think it's just something that we can't worry about. everyone's going to say, well, he didn't have a catch, this and that. I think the big thing is, we're continuing to work every day in practice. He's a dynamic player. I mean, we've seen what his speed is, and, we need to get the ball in his hands. The most successful offenses are the ones that can really spread the ball around. And to do that, you just read the plays. You trust your reads, you recognize the coverage, your protection and all that, and you go through your progression. So that's really just, it's what I focus on day in and day out. That's what I've always focused on in football. I'm not really changing anything.
Chris, what's your reaction to the Philly sculpture? You and Doug, have you seen it? What's kind of your reaction to that?
I haven't seen it in person. I've seen pictures of it, and I think it's a representation of our team and everything that went with it. And in that moment, it's just, I think you just see the boldness of our team throughout the course of the year, and it's not just that moment of the Philly, calling the Philly special, but statue's a representation of something greater. It's not just me and Doug up there, but just as a bold play call, and that's the mentality this team was last year. Bold, and that's what we carry on to this year.
Your first NFL victory came in Tampa. What do you remember thinking about yourself and your future in the NFL after that victory?
I just remember sitting in my locker and just saying, the NFL is not easy. I was like, dang, that was really hard to get a win, because that wasn't the easiest year, being Andy's last year here and everything that went on in that year, and to get that win at that time was huge. You look back on film and see everyone celebrating like we won the Super Bowl, and it was really special. At that point, I didn't know how it was going to be for me in the NFL, because I hadn't won and I'd lost several. I'm like, man, am I ever going to get a win in this league? But I remember just sitting in my locker after the game and saying, man, this is a tough league, but I'm going to enjoy this one. So we were all really happy, and that was a hard-fought game.
You went back and looked at it, you said, because when you saw people.
No, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I think when I was in Kansas City, Matt Nagy pulled it up. I think he was messing with me a little bit, but he wanted to see the last drive and see me my rookie year. And
What do you remember about that touchdown in Macklin?
I just remember there's a timeout called. We had a play called. It was a long drive, and we had one play left. And I remember, something hit my brain, hit my gut. That happens to me at times. And I ran over to Andy Reid and said, hey, can we do the sprint out? He said, go do it. And so I knew, once again, if I call a play, this better work. But I just remember that's what I felt. And, I remember Macklin making an amazing catch, barely getting, his feet or knees in, and just the feeling of, waiting to see if it really happened, if we really got that victory, and just how special that was.
Getting Alshon back, how much of a lift is that for you guys?
When he does get back, just having him back out there, he's a presence. He's a great guy, obviously a tremendous player, but, just a great teammate to have. Just having him out there, creates that presence. So it's just exciting to have him back out on the practice field like he is.
So do you have a pretty good track record with suggesting plays?
I don't always suggest them right. Sometimes I miss. So, but, in my mind I do, but.
Doug was saying when he has communication with you in the headset up to the 15-second mark, he doesn't want to kind of overload you. What do you want from the coach in that situation, and what is that communication like?
A lot of times it's just a play call. Some short, some long. And then, he might alert me to something that he was thinking, like while he's calling the play. But a lot of times when he calls a play, I sort of know, just from knowing Doug, what he's thinking, why he's calling that play. So that's really, it's usually just a play call, and then he allows me time to, get in the huddle, say the play, check the shot clock, see what I can do, use cadence, so I can see what's going on, so we can make our right calls and go.
He said sometimes when he gives you like that one tip of like, look out for this blitz, or he says the quarterback, that's the last thing in their head, and he doesn't want it to be. Do you kind of agree with that? You'd rather not have that tip, or does that happen when he suggests something?
I think that's just, he's played the position, so he's speaking from experience. A lot of times I think we just try to, once I get the play call, there's sometimes where he's still talking, but I still go in the huddle as he's in my head, and I'm telling the play to the guys so we can get up to the line. So, I'm not always at that point listening as once I get the play, but he understands that. He knows we've played the position, but that's where, preparing throughout the week, when we install plays and we rep them in practice and, we talk about them, we have an idea of what we're looking for, what we're trying to accomplish, and then if a blitz does come or something, like where we need to get the ball to. So
on their coverages, particularly on early downs, do they play a lot of zone, quarter zone, or do they go a lot of man?
They're a lot of, they're going to mix it up. They're typically a quarters team, but they're going to give you all the different coverages. And then, they do a good job of, disguising. They're going to disguise it from a shell. They're going to roll. They're going to go man. They do man. They're not just a quarters team. But I think the thing that I've noticed most on film is they like to disguise. They like to show you shell, and then at the snap, roll.
As a quarterback who's had kind of the whirlwind career you've had, what do you think of Fitzpatrick's career when you look at that? And I think 14 years, 7 teams he started on.
I think that's a testament of a guy who just continues to grind it out, and he goes into, it's not easy to go to a new team and then build a relationship with guys and then go in and play at a high level. And I think, Fitz has done an amazing job of doing that throughout his career. And I think that, young players in high school, players in college, even players in the NFL, you can look up to a guy like that and just say, like, every person dreams of playing for one team. When I got drafted here, my dream was to stay an Eagle my entire career. But that didn't happen. And you just have to keep working. And I think he's a testament of someone who's just continued to work, continue to impact a locker room. And then when he gets the opportunity to play, he does some pretty special things. So I'm really, he's a great dude, and, it's pretty awesome to see him having success.
You're talking today about how over the years he's had a lot of ups and downs. And he talked about confidence and how important confidence is. Even as a veteran quarterback, can you struggle with confidence? Is that, you don't just get it and keep it?
You don't get it and keep it. I think that's life. I think that, even things that, I said after the Super Bowl or in the book or even day to day, like, day to day there's struggles. And I think I've said that before. Confidence isn't just something I think people expect since you've done it before, you should know how to do it every time. But each day is a new day. Each struggle is a new struggle. And we are humans. We do have feelings and we do go through different things. So, we have to, that's why, I have a lot of conversations with my wife. I pray, I get in my Bible, I read the Word, because there is a lot of things going on that we have to deal with as people. And I think people look at us as professional athletes and think we don't deal with that, but we do. And, I think that when Fitz says that, I think that that's really awesome that he's as honest as he is, because I'll be honest too, we do struggle. You do lose your confidence at times, but you have to know how to get it back. And, what does that take? For me, it's always, leaning on Christ and, talking to my wife, even though sometimes I probably drive her crazy, but she's always been there for me. So I'm going to continue to do those two things.
Thanks.
Thank you all.